So, ladies and gentlemen, it is official. The Milwaukee Bucks have been eliminated from the playoffs in 5 games against the Indiana Pacers. The Milwaukee Bucks had a lot going against them coming into this series. Damian Lillard was diagnosed with blood clots 1 month before the playoffs started, so he would not have been in the rotation to start game 1. Giannis Antetokounmpo was going into a series that heavily favors the opposing team with subpar supporting cast around him. And I think the biggest thing with the Milwaukee Bucks has been the unlucky injury history and the subpar roster construction around your all-time great. We have a player in Giannis Antetokounmpo who is putting on an all-time great prime in front of our very eyes, and the roster construction around him is so subpar that we do not look at the Milwaukee Bucks as championship contenders, and we haven't for the past 2 seasons. And this is something that we get every single offseason. The Bucks lose in the first round, and there's Giannis Antetokounmpo rumors throughout the entire offseason. This is the first time where I feel as though there's not just rumors here. So before I get things started, I do want to talk about how the Milwaukee Bucks have used Giannis Antetokounmpo over the past month and a half. And if you are a regular subscriber to my channel, you know that this is something that I've been talking about a lot over the past month. I think Giannis Antetokounmpo has been showing the NBA that he can still be a one-man offense with just a lot of defense and shooting around him, and this could be one of the best offenses in the NBA. Over the last month of the NBA season, Giannis Antetokounmpo was averaging 33, 9, and 11, and the Milwaukee Bucks were one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league by three-point percentage. It was a level of just letting Giannis get downhill and get to the rim and having everyone collapse onto him and finding open shooters play after play after play. Giannis is the biggest downhill threat in the NBA, so if he's getting downhill, you're going to have to send multiple bodies at him, and based off of that, you're going to get so many open threes, and the Milwaukee Bucks have a level of spot-up shooters that can be really lethal time and time again, with guys like Gary Trent, Brook Lopez, AJ Green, Taurean Prince. These guys can shoot the ball. And I feel like that is what led a lot of people to thinking that Giannis could have this really big playoff run. And he was phenomenal in the playoffs this season. He averaged 33, 14, and 5. He also averaged 66% true shooting, which is his highest level of efficiency in the playoffs in his career. And I think the best thing about Giannis is we're finally starting to see Giannis in the playoffs again. We just got a full series of Giannis in the playoffs, which is something we have not gotten in the past 2 years. And that led to a lot of people pushing narratives about what if Giannis can still perform in the playoffs. I think he still performed to a very high level in the playoffs. There are 3 teams that I believe have a real run at Giannis Antetokounmpo this offseason. And I'm sure all of you guys can guess. It's the Houston Rockets, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the San Antonio Spurs. And this just shows, once again, how much better the Western Conference is than the Eastern Conference, because when superstars come up, there are more or less teams in the Western Conference that are more prepared to make an offer for said superstar than the teams in the Eastern Conference. When you look at the Western Conference teams, they have the young talent, they have the picks, they have the draft capital, they have the area that people want to live in. This is why you see so many big names go to the Western Conference, because the Western Conference is just better built to trade for these type of players. But the first team I do want to talk about is the Oklahoma City Thunder, because out of these 3 teams, I feel like this is the team that may have the longest shot of trading for Giannis. And I know that may sound crazy just because we have a team in the Oklahoma City Thunder who have draft picks that they can spare. They have young talent that they can spare. They have an MVP caliber player who hasn't even hit his 30s yet. So what I mean by saying that this is probably the longest shot of the team that will get Giannis, because the Oklahoma City Thunder are in a position where they can win a championship right now. If they win a championship this season, how much do you really want to mess up that championship core to go bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo? Do you really want to let go of Jalen Williams or Chet Holmgren to go get Giannis Antetokounmpo? And I'm pretty sure that's what the Milwaukee Bucks are going to ask for. They're going to either want Jalen Williams or Chet Holmgren, and they're probably going to want Jalen Williams because Jalen Williams is more available. And once again, even if the Thunder do pull the trigger and say, here, Milwaukee, here's Jalen Williams, Cason Wallace, and 2 first-round picks for Giannis Antetokounmpo, I just think that Giannis is that good to the point where you can end up doing that and you'll feel fine about it. Giannis Antetokounmpo gives you that rim finishing, that rim pressure, that playmaking, and that level of help side rim protection defense that you could really use next to Chet Holmgren and have Isaiah Hartenstein coming off the bench and be possibly a lineup that can run ultra huge with Giannis at the 3, Chet at the 4, and Isaiah Hartenstein at the 5, and you can have SGA at the 1, and you can have Lou Dort at the 2. That's a really hard team to stop. And any superstar that comes up, just like the past 3 years, OKC is going to be in the talking point because they just have so many picks that are so intriguing that they can just see like, hey, if we want Devin Booker, here's Cason Wallace and 3 first-round picks. We'll take Devin Booker. And when OKC is that dangerous, they're going to be in any trade conversation for the next 5 to 7 years. Up next, I do want to talk about the San Antonio Spurs, which is a team that just traded for De'Aaron Fox and kept their young talent. So guys like Devin Vassell and Jeremy Sohan could be on the move, on top of having the Atlanta Hawks first-round picks, which are very valuable in the future. And once again, the Western Conference is better equipped to trade for superstar players than the Eastern Conference is because the Western Conference has disposable young talent. They draft very well. They trade very well, meaning they stack up draft picks, they stack up young talent just in case that young talent does develop into something, or they can become tradable assets to go get better pieces. So when I look at Giannis Antetokounmpo and I look at the San Antonio Spurs, the answer is easy. You have a big 3 now of De'Aaron Fox, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Victor Wembanyama. And this is a team that's going to instantly contend for the next 5 to 6 years just off those 3 alone. And if you have I just don't know how you guard this team because you have a 6'11", 7-footer in Giannis Antetokounmpo who can put the ball on the floor and has immense amount of strength. You have one of the most shiftiest guards in the NBA in De'Aaron Fox that can get wherever he wants to get on the floor and he can play make. And then you have Victor Wembanyama, who's arguably the best defensive center in the league and one of the better scorers and offensive players in the NBA as well. And we see how much Wemby can grow throughout a season. Who's saying by the end of his 3rd season he's not a top 5 player in the NBA? And last but not least, the Houston Rockets. I think the Houston Rockets could really put themselves in a really good position to go get Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Houston Rockets are currently down 3-1 to the Golden State Warriors, and their half-court offense has been abysmal. But luckily for Houston, they still have a Brooklyn Nets pick in 2027. They still have the Phoenix Suns picks for the next few years. The Phoenix Suns just finished outside of the play-in with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Those guys are about to get shipped off as well. So the Houston Rockets have multiple assets that they can use to ship off to go get a Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think they'll also be getting off of the Fred VanVleet and the Dillon Brooks contract pretty soon. So you're going to be giving up some salary to also bring in some players that can fit around Giannis Antetokounmpo. And you could potentially have a starting front court of Amen Thompson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Alperen Sengun. And to be honest, that creates a lot of really good interior passing, which is something the Houston Rockets are already really good at. 3 guys in your front court who can get into the teeth of the defense and create out of that look. 3 guys that can pass out of double teams, 3 guys that can pass out of drives to the rim, 3 guys that can pass out of advantage created for themselves and for others. Now, the only thing that I struggle with is the floor spacing. What type of backcourt are you willing to put around Giannis, Alperen Sengun, and Amen Thompson? But if they were to figure that out, if the Houston Rockets were able to figure that out, I think this is going to be one of the more dangerous teams in the NBA. Because if you do land Giannis Antetokounmpo, how expendable is Jalen Green? I would have to think that either Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, or Alperen Sengun is in this deal. And in my opinion, I think Jalen Green is the guy that has to go. So now that he's gone, who's going to be your starting 2 guard? My best bet would to be just sign somebody in free agency, sign a 3-and-D 2 guard, maybe try and trade for Cam Johnson. Whatever happens, just get some shooting in your backcourt so that front court can really have the space to do whatever it wants. And I really like how flexible Houston's lineups can get with Giannis, Amen, and Alperen Sengun as well. You can run small ball lineups with Giannis at the 5 and then have a Jabari Smith, Amen Thompson, and whoever you want at your backcourt. And I truly think that all 3 of these teams that I brought up are true championship contenders if Giannis were to walk into their doors. And I don't necessarily know if Giannis is going to get traded. I don't know if Giannis wants to be let out. I don't know if Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to request a trade. But I'm saying these are the 3 teams that I would watch out for the most if Giannis were to demand a trade. And even enough, if Giannis demands a trade, if I'm Indiana, I'm calling him. Like, what do y'all want for Giannis? What do y'all want for him? So ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like this type of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys tune into my playback room at the Buzzer Sports on Playback. We are going to be doing a lot of playback streams this offseason, watching older games. Maybe not older games like back in the 60s, but older games as in 10 to 15 years ago. We're going to be watching some old AI, Kobe, T-Mac, all those things. Make sure you guys follow me on TikTok because we're going to be revamping our TikTok and posting a lot of content on there. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, which will also be in the description and at the end of the video. Make sure you guys follow me on X, which will be also at the end of the video. And with that all being said, I will see you guys next time. Peace.